What's up, everybody? It's Eli here from TreeFall Studios, bringing a brand new video today. Today we're going to be taking a look at sales numbers, revenue, and comparisons for all of the PlayStation 4 games and some Wii U games as well. This is more of an informative video. Just a disclaimer before we get started. I believe I've passed the sales number threshold to talk about my sales numbers for either Wii U or the PlayStation 4. Some of those are covered by NDA. I'm getting close on some of the Wii U stuff, and but I don't think I'm there on the PlayStation. I need to go back and read. I signed so many things that I'm not exactly sure what the limit is, so I'm not going to be giving specific unit numbers or dollar numbers. I'm going to be talking in percentages and showing you images and graphs. I did another one of these videos called The Success of the Perplexing Orb 1 month after the game released, and I talked about a little bit of the sales comparisons between the games, and that was one of my most popular videos ever, so I'm doing another one today. But I think it's going to be a little bit better because I'm going to be showing you a bunch of different graphs and charts that I made in Excel really quickly here, just so you can see the comparison visually on the different games. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Eli and I run an indie game development studio. I post a bunch of videos about my actual games that I'm working on, devlog series, as well as game development tips and talk, all sorts of things about tutorials in game development, money in game development, how to get started in game development, that type of thing. So if you like games or if you're a video game developer, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more. So right now we're taking a look at the first chart, which is day 1 units. The launch day is such an important day. Usually that's like your largest sales day. Not always, as you'll see in the case for the Perplexing Orb, but you can see here this is a chart comparing Maze, Annihilation, the Perplexing Orb, and Pitterpot, which are all 4 of the games I've released on the PlayStation 4, and you can see the sales of the day 1 units. So the Perplexing Orb was the least selling, the worst performer. The Pitterpot did okay. And then, as you can see, Annihilation is actually the #1 performer on day 1, and Maze is just under that. So I don't know if Annihilation has to do with it being the cheapest game to release. That's what I'm thinking for day 1. A lot of people thought, well, you know, I could just pick this game up after they saw some videos about it on the internet, or they looked it up when they saw it on the store. But the thing is that unit difference, that graph right there, Maze to Annihilation, it's only like a 10 unit difference or something like that. It's rather close. We're going to take a look at the week 1 units, and you can see there's a huge change here. This is actually very interesting. So you can see from the day 1 to week 1, Pitterpot stayed in the last position. It did the worst on week 1. Compared to the other games, and the Perplexing Orb, however, has shot up. It did the worst day 1, but it had the best week 1. So the launch day was pretty bad, but then we had some videos come out, some media people posted the videos a day or 2 after launch, got us some publicity, and then it became known that the game was out. And then that game actually sold better in week 1 units wise than all of the other games. It's interesting, Annihilation here outsold Maze. They were very close on day 1, but then on week 1 you can see Maze just pushes just a little bit ahead of Annihilation. It kind of does a reverse, so the day 1 units didn't actually correlate to the overall week 1. However, I think this is kind of interesting right here. We're going to take a look. I put another graph right beside it. This is revenue. Super interesting because Pitterpot was $9.99, Orb was $5.99, Annihilation was $4.99, and Maze was $9.99. But I believe that Pitterpot was on sale for 10% off for the very first week, like a launch discount, which I'm never doing again. I think that hurt the revenue just a little bit. So it was slightly down. So you can see here in revenue dollars comparison, week 1, Maze basically crushes the other games. You can put Pitterpot and Annihilation together and you just get right about Maze. And you can see though the Perplexing Orb, even though it was a lot cheaper than Maze and Pitterpot, it's not too far away from Maze, just because it did sell more units. But overall, if you're looking at these numbers in terms of business and business strategy, and how you should make your games, like if you're thinking about launching your own game, what type of game you want to launch, what kind of price you want to launch, even though I sold a little bit less units of Maze than I did the Perplexing Orb, Maze trounced all of the other games in terms of dollar volume to keep me in business. So you can see that even though you might sell a little bit less, you don't sell enough less to where you lose money. You might sell a little bit less at a higher price point, but you make more money. So in the long run, it's totally worth it to try to make longer games and higher price games, in my opinion. It would be a whole nother video to talk about the time it took, dev time, for each of these games. So we're going to scroll down again and we're going to check out the next graph here. This is still PS4 units, and this is week 1 to week 2, only looking at Maze. So all those numbers that you were looking at on the previous graph, that's all week 1. So you can see that week 2 has basically a giant crash, 71% decrease. So that's not good. So the PS4 doesn't really, my Maze on the PS4 isn't really holding up. It sold pretty well in week 1, but week 2, it just basically dropped off completely. Some of the preliminary data that I'm looking at for the next week, I don't have the entire week yet, so that is why I didn't make that graph compared to week 3, but it looks like week 3 is going to be better than week 2, so I think it is turning around. So you can see this trend right here is showing that it doesn't exactly hold up. You're not going to get consistent week-on-week sales. Launch week is the most important week, so you better make enough money that week. And then here we're taking a look at the comparison of Maze on the PlayStation 4 to the Wii U, and this might be the most shocking news for people watching this video, especially if you're into game development and you're trying to learn, what kind of units can I sell, all that kind of thing. What system should I release my game on? Here's the PS4 units versus the Wii U units. The Wii U day 1 versus PS4 day 1 of the same game. Wii U outsold the PS4 by 3.71 times, so almost 400% more on the Wii U than the PS4. That's crazy. The Wii U version of Maze has way less features. It's got worse graphics. It's got more bugs, all sorts of things I fixed up in the PS4 version, but the Wii U version was $299 versus the PS4 version, which is $999. But it's just, this shows to me the download space has changed over the years. The Wii U and back in the day, PS3, all that kind of stuff, Xbox 360, the indie game sales were much different. The beginning of the PS4, I'm sure the indie sales were much different, even though I didn't get to see those, because if you scroll down and check out the next graph here, PS4 versus Wii U, this is week 1. Now the Wii U has outsold the PS4 units by 5.496 times. So what that means here, that's indicating that the Wii U has a better attach rate for the week 1, so that each day sales for the Wii U closely matched the launch day sales, when the PS4 launch day was the most important day, and then each day dribbles off even more so than the Wii U. So it's actually like this. I don't have another graph, but it's actually, it continues like this. Like the week on week for Wii U is stronger than the week on week for PS4, but I can't compare Maze yet because I don't really have too much Maze data. I have a lot of videos like this planned out to go in a deeper dive and talk about some of the sales trends that I've seen through my games over the years, pricing trends, and what sells, what doesn't sell, what the market looks like going forward, because I've definitely seen a drop in sales number from the Wii U to the PS4, which might blow your mind because Wii U sold like 3 million units in all of North America. I think the numbers overall for PS4, they broke 100 million units, I believe, in this past year. You're talking about a way larger space of people who could see and buy your game, but yet the sales numbers are way less than the Wii U. The market is definitely changing, and I'll probably do even deeper dives into that type of stuff from overall what I've seen in all of my games. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and if you thought this information was interesting, seeing these week-to-week sales, seeing the comparison from PlayStation 4 to Wii U, seeing the unit comparison and the revenue comparison on Maze compared to all the rest of the games. Overall, my takeaway is that it was worth it to make Maze, and I'm gonna stick to making larger games like Maze in the future at a regular higher price point. But if you enjoyed this video, you found it interesting, please hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already and you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Before we go, I need to give a shout out to our patrons who support us on Patreon. If you want to check out Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/TreeFall to see our page and see what kind of rewards we offer. We offer behind the scenes content, and I need to give a personal shout out to Carmen Red, Zach Ware, and LV. Thank you so much for all your support you've given us on Patreon. We couldn't do what we do without you. Without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next video.